I was horrified by it. That's your hometown, you were born right by it. It probably cuts deep and I hope that it does, cause you work in an industry that glorifies violence.
Yo. Ha! Oh my goodness. No, he didn't. Hello friends, welcome to Look and Live. You are now here with Pastor James Devallon, and this is another reaction video. Alright friends, somebody told me in my comments that Samson released another song, and it did come across my feed, by the way, and I was like, okay, let's see what this man has to say now. We know Samson, yeah, he has a way with words, that's for sure, and his lyrical bars are way up there, and I'm certainly sure he's going to address some of the issues that are going on in our world today. So let's get to it. Without further ado, let us now get into the heart of the message. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile.
Don't tread on me. Those are words that I stand by, homie. It doesn't mean I'm gangster, it doesn't mean I'm country. It means that my life is in my hands only. I don't have money for security, I don't have armed guards that I keep snug around me. You don't think I deserve protection like you do, and that means you don't give a fuck about me. Gated community, that's what you live in. Hatred and mutiny, that's what we live in. So come down here and hang with us for a minute. See if you leave with the same fucking opinion. Who's gonna help me out if I get robbed? What if somebody were to beat up my mother? Who's gonna be there to save our lives? You? Nah, me, motherfucker.
There goes Samson. Okay. A lot of what he's saying is true. Many are those who say, let's take away the gun from the average American, right? Law-abiding citizens, right? In the name of trying to keep us safe. Do they actually understand the condition of many of these cities that these people live in? I mean, those in power live in places where they're all safe, kept and protected by guns, of course. But the average American live in poor cities where we're experiencing a lot of violence. You know, so do we have a responsibility to make sure that we are taken care of? Right? What about us? You know, so these are good questions to think about. And there goes Samson.
I'm the only one that's got my back. It's dog eat dog, these are not no cats. There's cops in Michigan that can't even respond to their calls because their cars ain't got no gas. Great. Police don't have any fuel, you don't know if they'll arrive when you call them. The babies are starving, my girlfriend can't find a tampon, and yet somehow you and I are the problem. I've never bought a gun without having my background scanned and approved. The only loophole I've seen on a gun is the one that you put a fucking lanyard through. It's not true that you can go to the store and just swipe your card and get a Glock and run. It's funny, the people that say that shit have literally never even shot one.
Yeah, there's a whole process to this thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, as some will say, more gun control for whatever the purpose they want to shout it out for. But do they understand the process that an average gun owner had to go through in order to get a gun? While I am not saying we should not look into how we solve these mass shootings, I am not saying we should neglect that. But I think going after the guns as the first solution that is being proposed, it is not really proper when there are many other factors that need to be considered. So it's got another point again.
Dumbass. Hey, Matthew McConaughey. Shut the fuck up. Just cause you murdered people on screen doesn't mean you know shit about guns, you dumb fuck. What, you worried about us? What about all of those violent movies that you played? How about you go talk to Alec Baldwin before you start telling me what to do, okay? Uvalde, I was horrified by it. That's your hometown, you were born right by it. It probably cuts deep and I hope that it does, cause you work in an industry that glorifies violence.
Yo. Ha! Oh my goodness. No, he didn't. Matthew McConaughey, he called him out. Not only did he call him out, but he exposed some real things. He came out and was speaking about the situation that happened in Uvalde, having been born and raised in that city himself. And now he's in Hollywood. And I thought that was a really nice speech by Matthew. Very, very nice speech. I thought he was reading a little bit too much on paper, but nevertheless, These were his words. And I understand that he was trying to make a difference, which is great. However, I had some issues though. Very similar to what Samson is talking about, you know. These are the same guys who promote violence in our cities all the time. And here they are talking about gun violence and gun control. And I'm like, really? You know, you gotta start leading by example. That's all I will say to that. Anyway.
It's more your fault than it will ever be mine. Lord only knows how many crimes that you've influenced throughout your whole career, cause I've seen you kill people plenty of times. What do you think is gonna cause a shooting? A YouTube video of a gun review? Or a Hollywood murder scene that seems so realistic it looks like it's from the news? So
very powerful statement he just made here. I have been saying this on my channel. I said we're talking about we're talking about a nation who is influenced by violent media and violent video game and violent movies all the time. How do you think they're going to act when the proper opportunity presents themselves? I mean, I'm just saying, under the right circumstances, under the right pressure, people will do what they have seen on television carried out and is deemed as entertainment. I mean, it's just a fact. This man is on point. You can't overlook the fact Hollywood played a significant role in the violence we see in our streets. You can't overlook the fact. Their movies are part of the problem. Not just Hollywood, the entertainment industry. What is on our music today? Like the average music we see, particularly in the hip hop world, you'll see it in metal as well and things like that. But this concept, I'm not saying all of them do that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is this notion of killing and hurting those you disagree with. And there is this promotion of guns, violence in many of these movies, the drill music and so on. And you see them. So it's just like, come on, let's also look at all these different factors, because they play a very significant role. Not just that, depression in the home, condition of the mind, mental illness, spiritual condition. There's a lot happening to these gun-related violent crimes and these mass shootings that if we just go after the guns and neglect all these other factors, we may not really fix anything. As a matter of fact, I think we can create a much larger and bigger problem where even more people could be lives could be taken because they can't protect themselves from even more people whose mental illness has not been properly addressed, who's still being influenced by Hollywood and violent movies. And I think we need to rethink the way we want to impose and propose the solution here. All right, friends, let's continue.
Next time, now you want to point your finger with a stupid opinion and chime in with it. Remember, it ain't me that they're trying to be like, dog. It's you that they're trying to mimic. I feel way more safe in a place where the people are legally armed. If something happens like a mass shooting, I have a way less chance of being lethally harmed. A criminal is gonna think twice if he knows everybody is a piece underneath their clothes. And Mayor Lightfoot will probably tell you different, but have you seen Chicago?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, another good strike at Chicago mayor here. We don't need to call anybody's name. But the state of Chicago is not in a good condition. And there are many, many gun restricted laws there. Very restricted. But still, things are just really bad. Also, New York is just as bad. Detroit, just as bad. Yeah, these are things to think about. And if a shooter knows that you have on a gun, he is less likely going to do that. A mass shooter, they're not coming to for a gunfight. Their goal is not to fight. They just want to kill as many as possible. They don't want to meet a person with a gun. And I think the Greenwood Park Mall shooter found out the hard way that sometime one gun owner at the proper place at the proper time could put an end to whatever initial thought and goal they had. So yeah, I think that's something to consider as well. I would rather be protected knowing that my family are secure than to take chances in the hope that my government will look out for me, when I'm pretty sure they want to, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be possible. You know, so good point.
And no, before you ask, I don't want to be like Canada either, and I don't want to be like Australia. I'm sick of everybody using them as the humanity meter. There's a reason that they can do whatever they want to their citizens, like fucking throw them in camps. And there's a reason that our government doesn't even try that shit, cause they know that they can't. If you don't think for one split second that if we didn't have our Second Amendment, the government wouldn't overstep its boundaries and make us do shit even when we're against it, you're out of your mind. I don't give a damn where you stand or how or what you vote. That's dandy and fine if you trust Uncle Sam, but I for one fucking don't. And why would I? What have they done? Give me a reason for me to believe them. They want to trade me a little security in exchange for a big ass piece of my freedom. They don't want to take away guns cause they care about you and they want to keep you safe at night. They want to take away guns cause it's easy to control people if they don't have any way to fight. Hey buddy, what your little AR-15 gonna do when the government comes to take it? Well, Ukraine started handing out rifles to all of their citizens when the Russians invaded, so...
Good point. Good point. I listened to Carlien Noir, where he demonstrated the necessity of owning an AR-15. I'll put that video in the link. You need to listen to that. My wife and I, we reacted to that. Some people will say, why do you need an AR-15 for? You know, this hunting kind of gun is just, it's a really bad gun to own. But in case of a serious shootout, do you want a handgun or an AR-15? That was the question that was asked. I'll let you determine for that for yourself.
What about that? I thought it wouldn't help. I guarantee that it'd be better than nothing. I hope it never does, but if the day comes, I bet that you're gonna wish that you had something. This is the only country on earth where the people have real strength. And nowadays, with all the shit going on, that's the only thing that makes me feel safe. If there's anything that I've learned in the past couple years looking back at the pandemic, all of the shit that we have is fragile, and it could snap at any second. Fuck all of the politicians. I don't trust any...
It's true, man. We have to know things can get radicalized. Government can become tyrannical. Under the right circumstances, change can change just like that. And he's making a very positive point here. The same government who says, we're free, we want to love you, care for you, protect you. Look at the kind of pressure they put on the people during the pandemic. Look what happened. How they deemed the unvaccinated, the name call that we got. And some of us were not even allowed to keep our job as a result of the pressure that came from the government. I've heard that doctors didn't want to care for patients who were not vaccinated, you know, and things like that. Churches were shut down. We had to open our church back up after a while because we realized enough was enough. The people wanted it. Our members were dying without a church, and we couldn't keep doing this online thing because many of them were old. And I'm like, these are things we got to talk about. And I think he's got a very solid point here. It shows that under the right circumstances, under the right pressure, government can literally change on their people. This has been proven in the past. It's just, it could happen again. You know, let's be honest. Let's never think this could never happen here. Like JP will say, this could not happen here, right? Could it? Yes, it can. Let's keep going.
Thing they say, take the word gun out of gun control, and that's all that it is at the end of the day.
That means control.
I don't give a fuck how crazy you think that I look or I sound when I say this shit, but our Second Amendment's the only thing that stands between us and a dictatorship. And as for the kids, I'm not a security expert, so I won't act like one. But I think that if we can send over $50 billion to Ukraine, we could surely spend that much, or more, or less, here in our own country to fortify our schools and make them more secure so that every kid can get an education safe and sound. Place several trained armed guards in every school across America. You know, real men who won't stand by for 45 minutes in the hallway while a shooting unfolds in front of their own eyes.
That's another thing too. That's another thing too. But again, it's not their fault from what I've heard. They just didn't get the right information. It sounds like they didn't know this was a mass shooting that was currently happening. They thought this was a barricaded shooter or something like that. But still, it hurts. It just hurts that these cops just, I don't know.
And pay them well too. There's veterans that need the work. Why not protect our kids the same way that we protect you? Politicians are protected by guns. Celebrities are protected by guns. Every important person that walks this earth is protected by a gun. But our kids, they're important. Just not as much as you.
Gun control, he called it out, is really control, because ultimately we know how government can turn out, and that is true. So there's a lot of things here we need to work with. This guy was on fire. Samson, thank you for this one. If you ever watch this reaction video, I really hope you do. I appreciate your way of thinking, standards. Thank you for speaking your mind, even though some people may not agree with the way you talk, but I appreciate men like you. You're making a difference in our world. This is why the scripture says in the book of Psalms 118, 8 and 9, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put your confidence with men. You see, the thing is about men, government, they can fail you. So that's just men in the sense of the population, right? And then you went on to say, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put your confidence in princes. So princes are those in political power, kings, princes, presidents, governors, and everything. What's the point? The thing is, they can fail you. They will fail you, and they make mistakes because humanity is finite. They can only go so far, and they can only do so much. So our confidence must be placed in God. As we place our confidence in God, this doesn't mean we become gullible and naive. We don't give up our right to defend ourselves and protect our family. You know, the nature of the situation in our world is really bad right now. The mental illness is serious. Demonic possession is also a real thing. Some of these shooters are literally motivated by evil to do what they do. We need to be praying. We need to be having the conversation, but at the same time, we have a right to defend ourselves. I know I'm working on things. I'm almost there, baby. I'm almost there. You know, we got the license. I got the license recently, and I got a class coming up. So, yeah, we're not playing over here. We are not. I'm hoping that I will never have to use it. But when push comes to shove, this pastor is gonna be ready. Whether in church or at home, he's gonna be ready. But I'll leave it as that. I will not be showing anything extra and telling you anything more than that. But this family is protected, that's for sure. Thank you so much for this one. I appreciate the content, and also make sure you like and subscribe to the page if you appreciate this video. I didn't mean to make it so long, but it was just really so much to talk about, man. This guy was on fire. And also yeah, God bless you guys. And if you happen to have any prayer, anything you want to talk about, any testimony, what your perspective is on this reaction video, just put a comment below or send me an email so we can talk more privately as well. Remember, and as always, until next time, look unto Jesus, live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.